Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting here at Carlisle. I've drawn 1-1 at home to top of the table Walsall. And I tell you what, top against bottom's never that simple. And we showed that today. You know, it's a game that towards the end we probably should have won. You know, I thought we were absolutely dreadful the first 20 minutes, especially in the lead up and directly after their goal. To be fair, up until we scored, we were quite terrible. I think Walsall looks, a level above us, and they showed their class, and they got that goal, and I think they deserved it at that point in the match. We scored from an Aaron Hayden corner. You know, never doubted him. I'd have probably still took him off after he scored. You know, I wasn't impressed with him, but look, he scores a fantastic header, really clean connection, and after that, I think we looked as good, if not better than them, and especially in that second half, we probably should have won. There is one point I want to get across though, that is, I don't know what was wrong with Cameron Harper today, but we need to have a fullback on either side, because look, Kadeem Harris, it's not his position. I don't blame him for not entirely being great in that position, but we can't seem to stop crosses. Especially when Jordan Jones came on, I thought he was poor. There was one instance where he ducked out of the way, you know, not just ducked, but cowered out of the way of a cross. You're a fullback, you're playing as a left wing back. Your job is to stop them crosses. You can't be cowering out of the way of them. You know, they're dangerous, especially because Walsall is such a big team. You know, you can't be allowing that many crosses into the box, and we got away with a lot. Partially thanks to the brilliance of Gabriel Breeze, who, you know, despite his clean sheet kind of run coming to an end, I think did really, really well in nets. There was nothing really could have done about the goal, and without him, they maybe could have had a couple of more. He's really keeping us in this relegation battle. Results didn't really go our way. Could have been worse. Tranmere were winning at one point. And, you know, if they'd have won, we would have been 5 points away. But as it stands, we're now only 3 points behind Tranmere with a game in hand and a better goal difference. You know, we win our game in hand and we're out of the relegation zone. You know, we're so in this. We're so in this fight, which at one point it looked like we were completely down and out. We're not down and out anymore. It's 4 games unbeaten. Yes, I think we probably should have won more of them 4, with the only win coming in the 1-0 win against Barra. You know, you think about the 2-0-0s and the chances we had in those games. You think about today, you know, the chances towards the end of that game, even that, like, you know, that last minute of the game today, there was a really big save from their goalkeeper to keep them in it. And look, Walsall fans won't be happy with that. It's not really it's a good point for us, but both teams today, I think, we're going for the win, which I like, and it's nice to see Carlisle actually going for a win, because, you know, until Mark Hughes came in, it's not something we've really seen too much this season. You know, so many, you know, under the Mike Williamson era, we'd have just sat and tried to get a draw out of that game, but because Mark Hughes is different, because it's a different mentality he's trying to get into the players, we completely went on and tried to win it. And Walsall, towards the end, were the ones just defending their box, you know, and you think about where the two teams are, you'd expect it to be completely the other way around. But no, I'm happy with that today. I'm happy with the performance anyways. I'm happy with the fact that we managed to get our goal. Maybe should have had another. And we saw it out, and we got a point in the end. You know, four games, 3 draws, 1 win, no losses, you know. Obviously, I'd have preferred a win today, but against Walsall, against such a good team, you can't expect a win out of that game, and I think a point's probably a fair result, and I think a point's probably not a bad result. Like I said, if we win our game in hand, we're out of the relegation zone. But yeah, there's not really too much to say on this. The goal itself, I think, you know, the one we concede, it's well worked. It's maybe a bit, you know, the clearance out to the Walsall man could have been better, but overall it's just quality play, and they're a quality team. Not really too much Breeze can do about it. He gets something on it, but it bobbles past him into the net. You know, we score not too long after that, from a corner that was very much against the run of play of the corner, but as teams in our position need to do, and as we haven't done a lot this season, against the run of play, we took a chance and we scored from it. It was a fantastic header from Aaron Hayden. It's the cleanest corner routine I've ever seen in my life. Just simple cross into the box. Aaron Hayden, such a clean header, such a good finish. It looked routine, which we haven't seen too much of. But look, I think Terrell Thomas had a poor game today, as well as Aaron Hayden. And I also think Archie Davis had a funny game where I think he was very good going forward, could have done a little bit better defensively. I think our defence really today was being held together by Gabriel Breeze and Sam Lavelle, because I don't think there was some individual, some of the individual performances at the back weren't good, especially in that opening 20 minutes. But look, your goalkeeper's part of your team, and I was just keeping us in it. Thank you, Breeze, because without him this season, we'd be so far out. It makes me mad though that he's been sat on the bench for like all of last year and maybe this year, and maybe that's what he needed to develop into the keeper that he is now, because he's just getting better every game. Even his kicking's really improving, because that was always Breeze's weakness, but some of his distribution today was fantastic. I think he's probably man of the match today, despite conceding the goal. The midfield, Callum Guy had a good game. Whelan, I think, was okay. Embleton, I think that's probably his best performance in a Carlisle shirt. There was an instance where he probably should have scored, but in terms of overall play, that's the first time I've seen him and I thought that's what you have to offer. That he was turning, trying to pass forward all the time. That's the first time I think we've seen the best out of Embleton, and he faded a little bit towards the end, but I think if we can get Embleton playing like that every week, we've got a good player in our hands. And he showed what people thought he was going to be when he came into the squad, put it that way. But I'll re-emphasise the need for full-backs, because I think that was something that really let us down today. There was far too many crosses being allowed into our box. Luckily, they weren't good crosses. A lot of them far too close to the goalkeeper. Breeze claimed a lot of them. And then obviously you've got quite tall defenders in Thomas, Lavelle and Hayden heading them out. But Walsall are a very big team. I just think we need to do better at stopping those crosses in the box, and not many came from the right because we had a good full-back in Archie Davis that side, but from the left, Kadeem Harris, that's not his job, and Jordan Jones. Kadeem Harris didn't have a good game at left wing back, but but Jordan Jones, I thought, you can't be ducking out of the way of crosses, especially when you're a full-back. Your job is to stop that. But we got away with it. It didn't come back to bite us. The crosses weren't particularly good, but against it's hard to say a better team when you're playing top league, but a more informed team, I'll say, then that can cause us problems. And it almost did at times today. There was a few headers that Breeze managed to just claim easily, and there was a few good saves he made from them. But hey, I think their keeper had a good game, our keeper had a good game. Either team could have won it, and against top of the league, that's all you can really ask for from the position we're in. Mark Hughes has really made an impact since he came in. The mentality is different, the way we're playing is different, and I can only just say that thank God we've got him in when we did. We probably should have had him in a lot earlier, but thank God we've got him now. And thank God we're showing a bit of fight, because I don't think this club can really afford to go down in the National League. We need to be in League 2 next year. And I think we can do it. I think we're better than Tranmere, and I think we're better than Morecambe. Our games against those teams haven't proved that, but under Mark Hughes, I think we're more than good enough to stay up. We've more than got the quality. We just need to start turning some of these draws into wins, and hopefully we can see that soon. We got Harrogate coming up, very difficult game, not because Harrogate are a good team at all, but because they seem to have some kind of curse over us, a bit like Barra do with us. But let's see what happens. Maybe we can break that curse. Maybe it's all in our heads. Something as well. Something before I sign off. I noticed today in that starting 11, we signed 11 players in January. Only 3 started that game in Whelan, Embleton, and Sedwin Scott. Which was, when Williamson was manager, I remember starting games with like 8 or 9 players signed in January that were playing. Today only 3. And it makes you think, you think of that back line, it was Archie Davis, Gabriel Breeze at nets, Archie Davis at right back, Lavelle, Hayden, Thomas, with Kadeem Harris out on the left. Completely not old, because a lot of them were signed in the summer or just after the summer, but none of them players were signed in the January transfer window, and it makes you think. We signed 2 centre backs, and we signed a full back in January. None of them getting into the team. MacArthur not even getting into the squad. There was only 1 loan player in the squad today. The quality of the January transfers, I always thought were quite good. I always thought some of them were quite good signings, but you think of who's in the midfield today. Callum Guy back into the squad, obviously he's going to start. And you look up top, a kind of panicky striker signing in Dennis. It makes you question the January transfer window and the recruitment done in that window, if we've signed that many players and none of them are getting into our team at the minute. Well, I say none, but not enough of them as you would expect are getting into the team. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'll sign off there. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.